So I will now be discussing the organizational culture of Goodwill through the use of Denison's cultural model. So in regard to the mission, Goodwill's mission statement states that Goodwill works to enhance people's dignity and quality of life by strengthening their communities, eliminating their barriers to opportunity, and helping them reach their full potential through learning and the power of work. And that's a direct quote from goodwill.org. So, what is the organizational strategy? So, according to Harvard Business Review, Goodwill strategy revolves around three main priorities. One, empowering individuals in the community we serve. Two, ensuring a self sustaining community enterprise. And three, having a positive impact on the environment. So, what are the goals and objectives of Goodwill? So, for this specific district of Goodwill, our goals is obviously to support members of the community while also making enough money to support our company and its employees. We also try to obviously make a good impact on the environment. If we can save one item from being in a landfill, we're going to try to do that. What is the organization's vision for the future? So our specific vision for the future is to expand our district to Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania. We want to create new locations within those boundaries. And actually, we are starting a new store in Greenville, Pennsylvania here in the next month. So while we are creating new locations, we also want to create new community programs and to, again, protect the environment. So would I say that the organization's mission, strategy, goals, and objectives and visions are aligned? I would say yes. We closely follow Goodwill's original mission statement, and that is just to provide individuals within our community opportunities to be successful. So in regard to consistency, what are the organization's core values? So, according to goodwill.org, their core values are respect. We treat all people with dignity and respect. Stewardship. We honor our heritage by being socially, financially, and environmentally responsible. Ethics. We strive to meet the highest ethical standards. Learning. We challenge each other to strive for excellence and to continually learn. Innovation. We embrace continuous improvement, bold creativity, and change. For my personal experience, I would say that hard work leads to success is a huge value for Goodwill, and that Goodwill believes that people and items deserve second chances. We're actually one of the few places that hire felons, and I think that we have the mindset that if you can do better, you can. So we're going to give you the opportunity to do better. And we've actually hired one within the last month. So is there an agreement regarding how issues are handled? Yes. So if there's a customer complaint, we will first ask the customer what they would like to do. If they want to file a formal complaint, we will fill out the customer information, so their name, phone number, email, whatever ways they prefer to get back to from corporate. And then we will write out the incident. We will file it, and then we will send it to corporate. So we will CC our director of operations, our district manager, and our head of HR. If they need to take any steps further, they will. And if not, then it'll still be filed for the future. If there are employee complaints, we will try to avoid the corporate ladder. If we can deal with it in store, we will. If not, then we will follow the same procedure. Is there coordination across different areas of the organization? No, there is not. So each store has its own culture and ways it operates. So corporate will try to regulate each store to obviously make them as similar as possible, but unfortunately you will get a different experience at each store that you go to. Each store has different operations due to the location and the workers, and each area of the store will have different goals and objectives, seeing as they are dealing with different things. So they will focus on their different aspects of the organization in order to have a successful part in our organization. So are the organizational structures, processes, and systems aligned with the core values of the organization? I would say no. Unfortunately, there is a lot of issues with the structures of Goodwill and the systems. So that is one issue that actually hinders our organization, is the lack of coordination across those two aspects. So in regards to involvement, are employees empowered to with appropriate information to do their jobs? I would say yes and no. Sometimes we have no issue, but a lot of the times the biggest issue is the resources. So we are asked to do a job without the proper resources, and that causes obviously issues. For example, during pandemic, we were shut down for 3 months, I believe, and during that time, we didn't stop taking donations. So while the corporate office was closed and they couldn't restock the needs that we had about 500 donations a day and we had nowhere to put them. So what we eventually did was we cleared out our store and put all the donations from everybody inside the store. It was a huge mess and it was a really big issue because we didn't have the resources from corporate. Is there a team orientation towards the organization's goals? I would say yes and no. So each team member feels a deep connection with the store that they work for. So we work as basically a family unit. We want to ensure that the people who are doing their jobs, they do it well because it reflects not only us, but it reflects them as well. And we love all the people we work for and we want them to look like competent workers who are good at their jobs. So we're not really team oriented towards the organization, but we're team oriented towards our specific goals. So if something's asked from us, I know that it's going to get done because we love working with each other and we want to see the best from each other. So is there an opportunity for employees to develop new skills and capabilities? 110% yes. So one thing Goodwill is really good at is that they promote and hire within the company. They don't really typically look for outside hires unless it's the last option, and they try to provide their employees with a range of opportunities. So for example, tow motor certification. You can get that from Goodwill, and if you choose to end your employment with us, you can go to a different company and have that certification and be able to do that job. So in regard to adaptability, is the organization flexible in regarding to change? I would say no. Unfortunately, there have been many changes made, but the process of the change has been wrong. Most of the people that I work with have worked 10 plus years at the company. So their culture's already set in place. And when there are new changes made, it's almost instantaneous rather than having a process to the change, which doesn't make the change actually become policy in our stores, if that makes sense. If people have been there for 10 plus years, they're going to revert back to what they know works and how they know how to do their jobs. So does the organization have a customer focus in which the customer needs and wants are understood? I think 110% yes. Goodwill really focuses on what their customers say, with the exception of social listening. They're not too big on social platforms just yet, but in store, if there's an issue among the customers, we will listen and we will try to change. Most of the customers that do come into Goodwill are on a level 2 relationship with the workers. So through trust and listening, we can try to change what they're having an issue with, and if we can't, we'll talk to somebody who can. And for example, a couple days ago, our register shut down because we had a loss of Wi-Fi. We had no way to check people out. We had about it was probably about 45 people in the store, and no way to check them out other than cash. So basically what we did, since we don't have a set price on our items, we just did everything for 25 cents and to ensure that they had a good positive experience instead of feeling a really negative emotion towards our company, instead of feeling like we're wasting their time by waiting in line and not being able to check them out. So is there an opportunity for organizational learning? I would say yes. Goodwill, actually, the way that we learn through our organization is through time and talking. So by talking to your fellow peers, we learn the culture and it basically becomes transcribed upon us. So like I said, we've had workers there for about 10 plus years. So what has happened with them is going to happen to us too. We basically listen to what they say, and that's how our culture is developed and how it sticks. Basically, it's just talking and time. So is the organization involved in innovation and risk taking? Even though this is a core value of Goodwill, I would say no. Unfortunately, Goodwill sticks to what they believe to work. So they sometimes even regress their policies in order to meet the bottom line. While they do introduce some new ideas, they closely follow previous policies that they know work. So in regard to our group finding, are the organizational beliefs and assumptions internally or externally focused? I would say externally. They mainly focus on the mission, So while there is involvement and it is one of the driving forces of Goodwill, the mission statement is what pushes the business to interact with the community. Basically, what makes Goodwill Goodwill. Are the organization's beliefs and assumptions flexible or stable? So again, the organization's beliefs and assumptions are stable. They closely focus mainly on the mission. One consistency with the organization is stability regarding the mission. Even though we could go through changes of CEO, the one thing that has consistently stayed is the mission of the founder.